Good evening, everybody. My name is Srinivas here, representing Mitra Energy Limited, heading projects for Mitra. Basically, we are into the field of renewable energy, primarily wind power installations, and we have more than 310 megawatts to our account operating as of now. As far as my field experience is concerned, I have been in wind power for the last 18 years, working at different capacities. Since the topic here is about the technology advancements, I would like to dwell a few minutes on that. And before touching that technology advancements, I would like to draw the attention of the audience to the power scenario which was presented by our MD KPTCL, which says in the next 10 years, I think the demand is going to be doubled in Karnataka, be it in terms of megawatts, that's the peak power, or in terms of energy, it's going to be doubled. And the scenario is no different when you look at the country's statistics. As of now, we have close to 240,000 megawatts installed capacity in the country, which is expected to further grow. And if we have to maintain the present GDP rates, I think we should be touching anywhere between 4 lakh to 4,50,000 megawatts in the next 10 years. I think that is the estimate that the Planning Commission also has made. So with that kind of a demand emerging in the country, I think we must look at every source of generation that is available. We have already seen the mention from MD KPTCL that there are issues with coal linkages, there are issues with land and so on. When you look at the availability, it is limited, but the demand is not controlled. It is going to grow. And when this being the scenario, every source of generation must be welcome. I would like to touch upon 2 points that MD KPTCL made. One is renewables are infirm powers, which means that you don't know what's going to happen next. So is the demand. When we ask the load dispatch center people, obviously they would not be knowing what's going to happen next in terms of what the demand is. Certainly, the LDC people would be knowing that, okay, this is going to be the general pattern. But if you ask them a confirmation, they will not be able to give. So there is already a variability in the grid. And if there is a generation which is also variable, yes, I think it has to be managed. In countries like Denmark and Spain, they were able to manage with wind alone close to 80% of their overall consumption. I think it's a phenomenal achievement given the nature of behavior of these generation sources. So I think we also have to get to that level. No doubt there have been certain tools which have been specified by the European grid operators also, and India is now following. And that tool is basically the forecasting of wind generation, which means that we are supposed to forecast the wind generation, what the generation is going to be from a particular wind farm in the next, say, 1 hour, and so on. That is a general practice which is being followed in Europe, but when it comes to India, we are being asked to predict what's going to happen in next 15 minutes. I think given the nature of wind, it would be highly difficult to predict what's going to happen in the next 15 minutes. And we have to predict that in the 24 hours in advance. No doubt there are some flexibilities given for the wind generators to change the schedule, but then it has got larger commercial implications. But as an industry, we are also evolving, because these forecasting tools also are still evolving, and we have not reached a matured level where we will be able to confidently say that this is what is going to happen in the next minute. but we are inching towards it. I think that's a great technological advancement which is happening as far as wind source is concerned. And with this coming up and evolving to a level where the accuracy levels that are expected could be reached, then probably the point that was mentioned that during the monsoon, wind changes drastically and then they face a difficulty could be known well in advance, and there can be mitigative steps taken by the grid operators. So for every problem, I would say that there is a solution, and both grid operators as well as the generators have to work together and find a solution to the problem. This apart, when we look at the turbine technology, it has also evolved a lot over the last decade. When we look at the inception of wind industry in India, it was early 90s, where the capacity of the turbines were in the range of 200 kilowatt to 250 kilowatts. And now we have reached a stage where each individual turbine capacity is in the range of 2000 kilowatts or 2 megawatts. That is the Indian story. But when you look at the European story, there is a single turbine of 10 megawatt which has been designed and is under testing. And there are already successful turbines up to 6 megawatts and 6.5 megawatts which are operating pretty well. Of course, when we look at the grid requirements, basically the wind technology evolves from mainly Europe. Most of the technological support is from Europe. No doubt India also is contributing in terms of adopting those technologies to Indian conditions. But then the fundamental technology is from Europe, and then it has been tailor-made to Indian grid conditions as well. So I think in order to ensure that there is smooth operation with the grid, not giving reactive power checks, Mr. Srikanth was mentioning about the reactive power and so on, but these problems were there with the wind industry in the earlier stages, not anymore, because there have been different type of technologies that have got evolved. Two basic technologies, one is the induction generator and second is the synchronous generator, where absolutely no issues with the grid interfacing and connectivity issues. When it comes to induction generators, yes, there were issues in terms of reactive power, but now it has evolved in terms of doubly fed induction generators, which will give a smooth transition in terms of synchronization or cutting off from the grid. I think these are all the technological advancements which have happened over the last 20 years, and it is still evolving. And going further also, it's not going to be the same, I would say, because the size of the turbines have changed, the technology of the turbines have changed, the way it absorbs the energy from the wind has changed. It's going to be a never-ending process, which will also ensure that we adopt to the grid conditions, grid requirements, and so on. Overall, we would say that wind is going to be a prime player in the energy sector, trying to bridge that gap within its own limits. Thank you very much.